The PBO reports that the deficit is now 2/3 higher than the one Trudeau left behind. Over the next 5 years, this Prime Minister will add an amazing $300 billion of additional inflationary debt.
Pierre Poilievre was on fire in the House today. The Liberal government had no answers to all of the facts that he brought forward. Welcome back to the Canadian Shield. My name is Sterling. I was away from the computer for a day or so doing some things in the real world, and I looked at the House of Commons to get caught up on what I had missed, and I saw Pierre Poilievre completely destroy Philippe Champagne, the Liberals' greatest used car salesman, and Minister Hadju, who is only famous in my mind for how she spent all of last year complaining that somebody was putting mean tweets on the internet about her performance, and she was deciding to not come back into politics. Same we heard from Sean Fraser, and same we heard from so many of the front bench of the Liberal Party. And yet Canadians are stuck with the same old ministers and the same old tactics and the same old misinformation and disinformation that the Liberal Party is famous for. I do not understand why people didn't see that Mark Carney was not the man he claimed to be. Now Canadians are staring down a very harsh winter, and Mark Carney has decided that it's another trip to Europe is what he needs. He probably has a house over there that he needs to go check up on, or he hopes that he can escape the media for a day or two. I don't know. I just know that he should be in the country and not jet-setting around the planet at the expense of Canadians. And of course, the expenses he's running up were mentioned by Pierre Poilievre, and the Liberal government completely ignored all of that and started to talk about things that they were talking about a year or two ago. And it's really quite sad to think that that's the best answer that they can come up with. Promises about what might be coming around the corner and a program that was doomed to fail from the very beginning. Before we get into it, I want to encourage all of you who are not subscribed to subscribe, and I want to encourage everybody to like, comment, and share the channel with all of their socials. Okay, let's get into this.
Other costly and useless photo op tour to escape the inflation, criminality, housing price crisis, and of course the scandal around his public safety minister. That minister who lost track of 600 foreign criminals on our streets, broke the Liberal promise to hire 1,000 new border guards, and was caught on tape admitting that the Liberal plan to harass farmers and duck hunters has nothing to do with saving lives and everything to do with preserving the Prime Minister's political fortunes. Will the Prime Minister put Canadian lives first and fire this minister?
L'honorable ministre des Finances.
Honorable Minister of Finance.
Speaker, it's another day, but it's the same old conservative, Mr. Speaker. On this side of the House, we're about building a future. We're going to present a budget that's going to build this nation, Mr. Speaker. It's going to be a generational investment in our future. We're going to build a country. We're going to build jobs. We're going to create the opportunities for young people in this country. We're going to build the strongest economy in the G7, and we hope the Conservative will vote for this budget because it's about building our nation, Mr. Speaker.
Same old thing we've been hearing from the Liberals for 10 years. It's going to be around the corner. It's going to happen sooner or later. I mean, they already said they were going to make the budget right away, but they haven't been able to do a budget. It's going to be into November before they plan on tabling a budget. What does that have anything to do with what Pierre Poilievre said to him? I mean, how does that answer the question? How does that reassure Canadians that he knows what he's talking about? Philippe Champagne going on about the budget and everything, Mr. Speaker, everything, Mr. Speaker. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's theater. It's not solving the problem. But I don't know necessarily if the Liberals are trying to solve the problem. They seem to only be trying to tell Canadians to just wait some more. Yeah, I know you've been waiting since 2016 for the Liberals to follow through on any of their promises, and all we want you to do is wait some more. Don't worry about it.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
My mother and people like her actually built this nation, and today is my mom's birthday. Thank you. And it reminded me that even when my school teacher parents were struggling, we always had delicious, nutritious meals, meat and potatoes on our plate, and we had to eat all the broccoli. But when I called her today for her birthday wishes, she said grocery prices are terrible. I didn't have the heart to tell her, Mr. Speaker, that the Prime Minister's bait and switch is the culprit. Will the Prime Minister give my mother the ultimate birthday gift and end all Liberal taxes on groceries?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
I wish the opposite's mother a happy birthday. But I'm also very sad to tell her that her son voted against the school nutrition program. And Mr. Speaker, I think she'd be really disappointed because when I was there and I spoke to teachers and volunteers and met with students, they talked about how this healthy nutrition break for their students helped those students reach the goal of careers like architect, teacher, engineer, tradesperson.
I don't understand why the Liberals think that offering socialist food programs is a flex. I mean, one of the things that many people that came out of the collapse of the Berlin Wall and of the USSR talked about was how the government promised them food handouts. The government promised them food, and all they did was spend time in line waiting for handouts, and a lot of times they didn't even get it. On top of that, what you're wanting me to believe is that the people that are sending their children off to school are wanting the government to feed their children and not just them feed the children themselves. Perhaps the Liberal government should worry about cheaper rent and cheaper food prices, and then people could feed their own children. But I don't think that that occurs to the Liberal minister, as she talks about how when she was there, she was so there that she had to read it off a piece of paper, and she couldn't even mention a school or a location she was at. She just said there out loud. That's how desperate they are to distract from the fact that they are crippling the economy of this country and saddling these very same children with eons of debt.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, my mother, as a substitute teacher, sometimes taught math, and she would not be happy with the Parliamentary Budget Officer's report today, Mr. Speaker, which reveals that this Prime Minister is more expensive than even Justin Trudeau. Wow. The PBO reports that the deficit is now 2/3 higher than the one Trudeau left behind. Over the next 5 years, this Prime Minister will add an amazing $300 billion of additional inflationary debt, twice what Trudeau would have added, all of which will add to the cost of living for Canadians. Why is it how is it possible that any Prime Minister could have been more expensive than Trudeau?
L'Honorable Ministre des Finances.
The Honourable Finance Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me start by wishing the mother of the Leader of the Opposition happy birthday. And I'm sure that she's looking at the TV today, Mr. Speaker. Question. I have good news for his mother, Mr. Speaker. We cut our taxes, Mr. Speaker, along with 22 million Canadians. I don't know his mother, Mr. Speaker, but I know in her heart she must be proud of this Liberal government. That we cut taxes, that we're fighting for families, that we're going to build the country of the 21st century.
I wonder when Liberals watch Philip Champagne, do they believe his story, his theater? Do they believe that what he's saying is actually being honest? Or do they think, well, I'll just support him because I'm ideologically driven by what the Liberals mention, and I don't really care what happens to me or my family or my loved ones. And if the economy collapses, oh, well, that'll be fine so long as I didn't have to support the Conservatives. Like, I wonder if that's what crosses their mind, or do they just not care? Do they walk into the polling station and vote for the L no matter what, and then tell themselves, oh, gee, it must be all the Conservatives' fault that I'm broke, have no job, can't afford a place to live, and have no food that I can buy? I mean, Philip Champagne going on and trying to talk to people about subjects that are not part of the question. This expenditure of Mark Carney, that he talked about how he was going to be fiscal, and he talked about how he was going to be prudent, and now he's gone completely in the opposite direction. What is wrong with Liberals that they do not want to hold their politicians to account for the words that have come out of their mouth? I mean, the man said one thing and is doing another.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, I can confirm he definitely does not know my mother. In fact, my mother knew how to budget better than anyone. She could stretch a dollar farther. In fact, I think she should come in here as the finance minister. We sure wouldn't have a PBO report showing the government adding $1/3 of $1 trillion of extra deficits. We know that every single dollar this Prime Minister spends comes out of the pockets of hard-working Canadians. Why don't they know that?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
Keeping on the theme of mothers, one thing I know about mothers is that every mother is certain that no child should go hungry. And so it is particularly disappointing to see the members opposite, many of them who I mothers as well, voting against the school nutrition program that is making sure that no matter a kid's circumstance, they've got the nutrition to learn and grow. Mr. Speaker, we'll always stand up for Canadian families on this side.
I mean, at this point, the Liberal government is not even trying to hide the fact that they don't care about the budget. They don't care about the amount of money they're spending. Obviously, because again, she come back with talking about the food school program. What's next? Are they going to be talking about the dental program again, or are they going to be talking about how they're giving free birth control? I mean, that's the only thing that they seem to have left in their repertoire is to say, oh, you know, a year and a half ago, we decided that we were going to initiate a food school program. And that somehow is what you should be talking about rather than the $300 billion that we're going over budget and wasting your money as we fly around the world on our private jets, demanding that you don't have a car to drive. Flying around the world in our private jets, demanding that you do not have a house that you can comfortably heat in the dead of Canadian winter because you have to use electricity that is not reliable. I don't appreciate any leadership that doesn't practice what they preach. I don't appreciate any leadership that doesn't follow their own words. The people that support socialism and the people that support the Liberal government don't seem to care about what comes, like, they don't seem to care about the facts. They don't seem to care about the truth or the reality on the ground. They just seem to be only standing in ideologically opposed to the Conservatives. I mean, imagine in your mind how far down the rabbit hole you've gone when you stand ideologically opposed to inexpensive housing, inexpensive food, a good job, and a safe street. I mean, where are you in your mind that those are the kinds of things you oppose? Those are the kinds of things you stand against. You cheer on your Liberal leadership as they destroy Canada's ability to have clean streets, decent job, inexpensive food, and inexpensive lodging. You cheer, you root for them. While the standard of living in this country plummets to that lower than some war-torn countries in Central Africa. Or at least it seems like it from where I'm sitting. While you look over the border and say, oh, that Trump creating all them jobs and generating all that money. No, we need to look at China where they don't have any of that stuff. I mean, how far down the hole have you slipped when you tell yourself that safe streets and inexpensive housing and inexpensive food and decent lifelong jobs are things you dislike? I mean, that's what happens when you give your vote to the Liberal government. You're voting against all of that stuff. To say to me, oh, we're going to give your kid lunch at school. Why don't you send the kid to school with their own lunch, use your own money to buy the lunch, and then you don't have to worry about the handouts that are coming out from the school. And I say that fully understanding the program of school food will dissipate, will crash, it will bottom out. It will start to hit a whole bunch of roadblocks when you look at whether or not you can give some of that stuff to the halal diet, to the Hindi diet, when you got all of these kids massed together in one school and all of a sudden you got to keep straight who's allowed to have what kind of sandwich, who's allowed to have what kind of food. And of course, the government won't have the kind of money that they require to put that out. Obviously, when you hear the government talking about making cuts to government jobs, you must understand that they're going to be making cuts to all of the programs that they have put out. You have to believe that. Why you told yourself that Mark Carney was going to be the answer to Donald Trump and the answer to Canada's economic woes is one situation. But here we are many months later, nothing has changed. In fact, everything, no, I shouldn't say that. Lots of things have changed. They have all gotten worse. And the only answer the Liberal government seems to have is about a budget that may be just around the corner coming out, possibly, perhaps, and a school food program. I don't know how the school food program helps the 30-year-old guy who can't find a job and is living in his mom's basement. I'm not 100% sure about that. I don't think that that's something that they care about. I think that they just are trying their level best to convince single mothers that they should worry less about the state of their own lives and support the Liberal Party. That's what I believe the whole approach about that is. I think that they don't want everybody to realize just how bad the situation is on the ground. And so they do what Liberals always do. They try to rile up their base. Like it'll be, like I said, it'll be seniors and dental work next. And then just after that will be free birth control. And they'll repeat. They've been repeating that same cycle now for, it feels like a year. Now, I understand that we need to feed children, but I further understand that if you provide cheap, inexpensive food, quality food in the store, people can take the time to put together a bag lunch. And we've been doing a bag lunch for more than 100 years. I can understand that the Liberal government is desperate to distract from the fact that the parliamentary budget officer has let the cat out of the bag, has blown the whistle on the Mark Carney spending, and how that spending is going to have a serious impact on the budget. And so they just want to start talking to you the way the Liberals always do. Oh, the children. And we can go running around and take Hadju's words to shreds as we like. I believe that what we need to ask ourselves is, how come the Liberal government takes such pride in knowing that the parents of those children do not have the resources they need to send their children to school with a healthy lunch? I want to understand how the Liberals and the Liberal supporters can get behind all of that, can say to themselves, yes, I don't want safe streets. I don't want a good job. I don't want inexpensive food and inexpensive rent. And I just think that the whole neighborhood should go to school and get lunch handouts from the government. I don't know. I guess I just don't seem to understand the Liberal mindset. And as I say this out loud, I hope I can get some people in the Liberal mindset to appreciate just how absurd it looks from this side of the aisle, from where I'm standing, to tell yourself that you stand against peace and prosperity and you do so proudly is a very strange position in my mind. But that's just my opinion. I would encourage all of you to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you haven't subscribed already. I'm going to wrap here. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next time.